Hello, welcome back. Okay, I'm diving right in here. I got a little off topic last week at the beginning, so we're diving into on topic today. Okay, I have a question for you. This is something really cool that you get to ask yourself. So, last week we talked all about what would you do with all that money, picking a number, getting behind it, why you want it, not judging our wants and desires, right? Because if we want it, we want it, and that's fine. Um, Today, we're talking about what are you no longer available for financially? What are you, oh geez, what are you no longer available for? I want you to really think about that. So let's just say you've been living a life of, I'm barely scraping by. I can get my bills paid on time and it feels really good, but I want more. I want excess. I want overflow. Maybe you're living in a world where you're like, oh, okay, I only go in the hole like $100 every month or something. This was my reality like years ago. Years and years ago. It was like the shittiest feeling ever. I did not like going into the red, but I was there. I was there, and that was part of my story, and we dug our way out of that. But I want you to really think about, okay, let's just say you're barely scraping by. You're getting your bills paid, but this is probably me 10 years ago. Um, Barely getting your bills paid, but you're like, I want to start doing big things. I want to start traveling more. I want to start having the opportunity to do all of these things. So maybe you're no longer available for just getting by. Like, that gets to be a choice that you make in this moment. And you don't have to come up with the how. Well, how am I going to make more money? I hear your brain going already, believe me. How am I going to make more money? How am I going to get out of this hole? Like, you have no idea what it's like. I do. I do. I was there. Believe me. I was there. The church that we were a part of had to help us pay bills for a few months at one point. Like, it was rough. We were on government assistance. We've been there. We have been through all of the things, and even to the point where I would be in the grocery store checkout line, and I remember just like feeling so anxious and nervous. I would be on my phone trying to log into my bank account, and I had tried to add up all the groceries in my cart just to make sure, and then I would log in to see how much was in our account to make sure that we could like cover the cost of the groceries that I was buying. Every now and then I'd have to get out of line and be like, oh, I forgot something, and I'd actually have to go put something back. And it doesn't feel good. And I don't believe that that's how life needs to be lived for the rest of your life. That is not a fun way to live. And if you have the desire to get out of that and to not live in that financially, you absolutely can do it. I am the prime example of doing it. There are so many ways in this world to make money. There are so many ways in this world to manifest different things, right? So I just be open-minded here. And if you're listening to this, I already know you're open-minded because you're looking for a change in your life. You're looking to shift. You're looking for that next level that you want to be at. And you're an action taker. You're an action taker. If you're listening to a podcast, you're an action taker. But I want to warn you, don't go down the rabbit hole like I did of just consuming information. Take action, practice what you are learning, and watch your life change before your eyes, right? Even when it feels like it's going slow, things are still happening behind the scenes, but it's the energy you are putting out into the universe that's going to come back to you. So, what are you no longer available for financially? If you are no longer available for scraping by, what do you want your next level of income, belief, whatever to be? And maybe that was the number that you set last week. If you did the work, right? This doesn't work if you don't do the work. So do the work. I am the coach that will call you out on your BS. So just be aware. But what are you no longer available for? So what is your new number? What would feel really good for you? There's probably a number that popped into your head immediately. And maybe it popped into your head and then you were like, no, 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 I don't know if I could ever get there. Stop that. Stop that right now. You can. You can. So, what would you do with all that money, like last week? And what are you no longer financially available for? Maybe you're like, actually, I'm tired of going in the red every month. Tired of that dang freaking overdraft fee. Like, tired. I really got sick of paying those, I'll tell you that. But if you call the bank, they will remove quite a few of them. But what are you no longer available for? So if you're no longer available for scraping by, what is your next right step? What is your next step that like pops into your head? Maybe you've had a business or a side hustle and you're like, oh, but I'm not talking about it very much, right? When we're feeling kind of shitty in our financial situation, or we're kind of feeling kind of shitty like in life, that kind of dictates the action that we take, right? And so if you have this belief of like, money sucks, money's hard to make, I don't know how to do this, then are you going to take action? No. And so I want you to just start asking yourself better questions. So I want you to make the decision today, write that down in your journal. What am I no longer available for? I want you to write that down. And then I want you to kind of start to recognize, what are my beliefs around money? I know we've done a little bit of that, but like, what are your beliefs around money? We talked about this a little bit when I was talking about how to talk to your kids about money. But what are your beliefs? What are your beliefs that you hold? What are the stories that you're telling yourself? What are the stories you're telling yourself about you? Write those out. And then let's reframe those into something that's going to serve you a little bit more. And so I really want you to start asking yourself better questions. So you're like, okay, I'm no longer available to make anything less than $2,000 a month. Let's just say that's your number, right? I'm no longer available to make anything less than $2,000 a month. Okay. And then your brain's like, well, how are you going to do that, Pam? Like, how are you going to get your income up, right? If you allow yourself to just make that decision, I'm no longer available to make anything less than $2,000 a month. And you sit with that, breathe through it, do the breath work that I gave you last week. I am an abundant woman. Do the breath work every single day, right? You're going to start to notice new ideas floating in. They're going to hit you and you're going to be like, but I couldn't do that. This is the work. This is the work. When these ideas come in and they feel really good, and then your ego kicks in and starts telling you all the reasons why you shouldn't or you can't, and that doesn't feel good. Remember, our brain likes familiar. The struggle that you've been in is familiar, and your brain wants to keep you in that, whether it serves you or not, because that's how it thinks that you're going to survive. And so you need to choose and get yourself back in the driver's seat and say, actually, brain, little me, little gangster in there, I am safe, and now I'm going to shift. I'm no longer available for this life. I'm only available for this. And I'm actually going to take action on this thing that just floated into my brain and has me scared shitless. And then you get to decide. You get to decide, but it's taking the action that matters. You have to take the action when the divine guidance creeps in. So the pattern we're breaking here is, one, you're becoming aware of the shitty thoughts, right? Two, you're then deciding, I'm actually no longer available for this. And then three, you've got to break that pattern by shifting the story that you're telling yourself and trusting yourself to take that action moving forward so that you truly can start to shift these habits and patterns. So I want you to focus on that. I'm going to keep this episode short and sweet for you. Okay, so I want you to pull out a journal. I want you to decide what you're no longer available for financially. I want you to brainstorm all the shit that's coming up when you tell yourself, I'm no longer available for this. You shift it, shift out of that, right? And then write your new story and take the divine, I was going to say inspired and divine altogether. I want you to take the inspired action that creeps in, and I want you to move forward with that. Okay? So that's your homework. That is your homework. And I want you to share this podcast with another mom or another friend that you have who really needs to hear this, who really wants to shift her life. And please give me a review. If this podcast has served you in any way, it is so helpful if you share it on your Instagram, on your Facebook, wherever. Tag me. I will give you a shout out, but it helps me get the word out there so much. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you next time.